The teasers dropped, the fandom went silent. In an instant, the entire K-pop world was turned upside down. The 16-month nightmare is finally over. He is back.
Yeah, I mean, talk about absolute whiplash, going from total radio silence, like a complete erasure from the public eye, to just dominating the global conversation in a matter of hours.
It's insane. Welcome to today's custom-tailored deep dive. I am so glad you're joining us today because we are unpacking one of the most shocking, twist-filled controversies in recent entertainment history.
Oh, absolutely. The forced 16-month hiatus of Hallyu megastar Kim Soo-hyun.
Right. And this is really a story about how one of the most beloved figures in Korean media was entirely derailed by digital fabrication and, how he clawed his way back.
Yeah, and we're looking at a huge stack of sources for this. We've got official agency statements from gold medalists, global news reports covering the fallout, and even a forensic linguistics academic paper.
Which is fascinating, by the way. Okay, let's unpack this. Because to really appreciate the sheer magnitude of this comeback, we have to look at the inciting incident. We need to understand the fall before we can appreciate the comeback.
Right. In March of 2025, Kim Soo-hyun was effectively untouchable. And then, bam, a single YouTube broadcast just ignited a complete firestorm.
Yeah, this stems from a YouTube channel called HoverLab, which is often known as the Garacero Research Institute. It's operated by Kim Sae-ron.
Right.
And they dropped an allegation that literally paralyzed the fandom overnight. They claimed Kim Soo-hyun had dated the late actress Kim Sae-ron when she was a 16-year-old minor.
Which, I mean, that's an accusation that carries unparalleled destructive weight in any industry, but especially in Korean entertainment.
It's an instant career ender. The fallout was just devastating, and it was immediate. He stepped away from the public eye completely.
He really had no choice.
Exactly. And international netizens, who, are highly sensitive to any underage misconduct issues, they reacted so fiercely. Like, within hours, there were viral videos of his standees and promotional posters physically being torn down in retail stores.
Yeah, it was a digital wildfire where no one waits for the fire chief to arrive.
Right. And I really want to ask you about this speed. Like, why do international netizens often react so much faster and harsher to these K-entertainment scandals than domestic fans? Like, way before the facts are even verified.
Well, what's fascinating here is the psychology of parasocial relationships. When fans invest in a celebrity, when someone becomes your bias, it's a deep emotional bond. You invest time, money, a piece of your own identity.
So the pedestal is incredibly high.
Exactly. So when a malicious outlet preys on our most powerful moral triggers, like protecting a minor, it effectively short-circuits our normal critical thinking.
Because, nobody wants to be the person defending a monster.
Precisely. The outrage becomes a protective mechanism. It forces this guilty until proven innocent scenario. The community violently severs ties immediately just to prove they don't condone that behavior.
Just in case it turns out to be true.
Right. It's a rush to the moral high ground.
And what makes this specific situation so dark is the context surrounding Kim Sae-ron herself. She had tragically passed away, and HoverLab essentially weaponized her death to build this fake narrative. It's so grim.
It is incredibly grim. And, we need to be careful and respectful discussing this because a young woman's tragic passing was literally exploited for clicks.
Yeah.
According to the official statements, HoverLab took facts from her life and just grotesquely distorted them. Like they took an unidentified acquaintance of her mother and framed her as an aunt to give the story this false sense of familial authority.
Wow.
Yeah. And they also took a resolved financial debt and falsely claimed it was the catalyst for the actress's passing.
They erased the actual reality of her life just to cast Kim Soo-hyun as the villain. The agency even noted that a text message about the company trying to financially assist the artist was twisted to look like a threat.
It's terrifying how easily things can be reframed.
And that's not even the wildest part of this comeback. Wait until you hear how a single piece of clothing completely unraveled a massive lie.
Oh, the forensic pushback on this is incredible.
It really is. Because how do you prove a negative against a viral rumor? Especially when the other party is no longer here to speak for themselves.
Well, it requires a masterclass in forensic PR. Gold medalists didn't just issue, a vague denial. They dropped a massive factual statement.
And they made a very strategic choice, right? They didn't deny that the two had dated.
Right, which was so smart, because if you deny everything, people just assume you're lying about everything. Instead, they established the real timeline.
Okay, lay that out for us.
They stated clearly that they dated from the summer of 2019 to the autumn of 2020. The crucial detail there is the year. By summer 2019, she was already of legal age.
Boom. That single fact dismantled the entire core of HoverLab's accusation. But HoverLab still had a photo.
They did.
A photo they released in March 2025, claiming it was from 2016. And here's where it gets really crazy. Gold medalists proved the photo was actually taken in the winter of 2020. And they didn't do it with, like, digital metadata. They did it with fashion.
Yes, the clothing alibi.
The specific shirt Kim Sae-ron was wearing in that supposedly 2016 photo wasn't even manufactured or released by the brand until June 2019.
It's just a brilliant piece of deductive reasoning. I mean, you physically cannot wear a garment in 2016 if it literally does not exist yet.
It's an airtight alibi.
It really highlights how meticulous agencies have to be now. They couldn't rely on he said, she said.
Yeah.
They had to rely on supply chain logistics.
Okay, but a misdated photo is one thing. The truly terrifying part of this scandal is the audio recordings and the messenger conversations that HoverLab released.
Oh, the deep fake.
Yeah. When the police investigated the digital footprint, they found those recordings and texts were completely manipulated. They were AI generated. How do investigators actually prove an audio clip is a deepfake these days?
So it comes down to audio forensics. When you hear an AI voice clone, it might sound perfect to the naked ear, but an analyst is looking at a visual representation of the sound called a spectrogram.
Okay.
And human speech has natural imperfections, inconsistent respiratory pauses, subtle mouth clicks, variations in pitch when we breathe.
Things we do without even thinking about it.
Exactly. AI models struggle with those micro expressions of breath. They generate speech based on beta patterns, so the pacing is often slightly too uniform.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, or the background noise might cut out unnaturally between words. Plus, there are digital artifacts, tiny glitches that a human ear misses, but software flags immediately.
And because of those artifacts, the HoverLab operator, Kim Soo-hyun, was indicted. He's currently detained at the Seoul Detention Center for Criminal Defamation, awaiting an August trial.
Which is a huge deal. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it brings up a crucial dynamic explored in that academic paper from the journal Arbiter.
The one titled Distorted Korean Idol Scandal.
That's the one. Now, that study focused on the Burning Sun scandal, but the mechanisms apply perfectly here. They explain how deceptive media uses semantic manipulation to construct a false reality.
Here's where it gets really interesting. What does semantic manipulation actually look like in practice? Because that sounds very academic. How does a YouTuber actually use it?
It's all about how language is structured to shift blame. One common tactic is using passive construction to mask the source. So instead of a headline saying, "We fabricated a text message," they'll say, "A text message was discovered showing."
Wow. It just completely removes them from the sentence.
Exactly. It makes the fake evidence sound like an objective artifact that just magically appeared. The paper also discusses distorted contexts, taking a real fact and placing it next to a tragedy to imply causation.
Just to create public outrage.
Yes. Because moral outrage generates massive engagement. Engagement equals YouTube views, and views equal ad revenue.
Think about that for a second. Think about your own digital footprint. If someone took a 10-second clip of your voice from social media, cloned it with AI, and sent a fake audio recording to your boss where you're saying something horrific.
It's terrifying.
How long would it take you to prove it wasn't you?
Yeah.
By the time the audio forensics come back, you're already fired. How can any celebrity defend themselves quickly enough to save their career?
They almost can't. The burden of proof has entirely shifted. You aren't defending yourself against a rumor anymore. You're defending against a manufactured digital reality. It takes months to prove an audio clip is AI, but it takes 3 seconds for it to go viral.
Which brings us to the resurrection. Later in the deep dive, we'll talk about the shocking plot twist in his career recovery, involving a massive global streaming platform that nobody saw coming. But first, let's look at the immediate aftermath.
Right. His name is cleared. The villain is literally sitting in a detention cell. But a 16-month hiatus is an eternity in the fast-moving Hallyu wave.
You don't just casually stroll back in, you have to rebuild the empire. So what does this all mean for his corporate partnerships?
Well, rebuilding always begins with the brands, who stays and who runs.
His first official activity back in the spotlight was a major campaign for the Philippine fashion brand Bench. And what's so remarkable is that they refused to drop his contract during the absolute height of the controversy.
That is an incredibly rare move. In the Korean entertainment industry, morality clauses are famously strict. Usually at the first whisper of a scandal, a brand scrubs the actor's face from their storefronts within hours.
Like a bank run.
Exactly. A panic based on a rumor that creates actual financial insolvency for the actor. Bench maintaining that relationship was like angel investing during a market crash, a massive corporate gamble.
But then contrast that with Eider, the outdoor apparel brand. During the nightmare, they panicked. They initially sued Kim Soo-hyun and gold medalist for 2.5 billion Korean won in damages.
That's roughly 1.8 million US dollars.
Right, claiming reputational harm because the public was turning on him. But once the police concluded the evidence was AI-generated, Eider's legal standing completely crumbled.
Yeah, they had to drop the reputational damage claim because he hadn't actually done anything wrong, but they still tried to claw back about 400 million won in model fees.
And the Seoul Central District Court stepped in and basically said no. They recommended a settlement, pointing out that both the brand and the actor were victims of a third party. They said just honor the original contract.
Which is a huge relief for his agency.
But let me challenge that for a second. Eider still suffered real financial losses, right? If the public boycotted their stores for months, why should the court force the brand to honor a contract with a celebrity whose face is hurting their sales, even if he is innocent?
This raises an important question about legal precedent. If the court ruled that an innocent celebrity had to repay a brand just because the public was manipulated by a deepfake, they'd be weaponizing the law in favor of the trolls.
Oh, wow. I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah, you'd create a system where any malicious actor with an AI voice generator could intentionally bankrupt a celebrity just by spooking their sponsors. The court is recognizing that a celebrity cannot be financially liable for a brand's panic when the celebrity is the victim of an illegal manipulation campaign.
That makes total sense. It's like a superhero having their powers stripped away by a villain, only to build an Iron Man suit in a cage and come back stronger than ever. You can't let the extortionists control the economy of the industry.
Exactly.
So the legal disputes are settling, the truth is out. But a true actor's comeback requires more than just cleared charges. It requires art.
Which brings us to the ultimate plot twist, Disney+.
Yes. Disney Plus has officially resumed production on their highly anticipated original series, Knockoff. Our sources note that the streaming giant intentionally delayed the project just to monitor the police investigation.
They held the line, and now that his name is cleared, the marketing machine is back in full swing. And the specific role he chose is a brilliant strategic move.
He's playing Kim Soo-hyun. The series is set during the 1997 Asian financial crisis. He plays this brilliant strategist who gets wiped out by the crash and rises from the ashes to become a ruthless kingpin of the underground counterfeit goods market.
The contrast there is entirely deliberate. Think about the role he was known for right before this forced hiatus.
Big Hyun-woo in Queen of Tears.
Right.
Queen of Tears was an absolute phenomenon. It hit a record 24.9% peak viewership rating. It became TVN's highest-rated drama ever, completely surpassing Crash Landing on You. It was a true all-kill across the charts.
And that character, Baek Hyun-woo, was warm, compassionate, deeply loving. And now he's following that up by playing a cold, pragmatic, survival-at-all-costs crime boss.
A complete 180-degree flip.
This is where we see the immense power of a deeply rooted fandom in the Hallyu wave. His global popularity from Queen of Tears and legacy hits like My Love from the Star created this bedrock of support.
Even when the initial reaction was fierce.
Yeah. The core fandom's historical loyalty gave platforms like Disney Plus a reason to wait for the forensic truth rather than immediately severing ties.
They knew his visuals and his talent were just too valuable to abandon over a rumor. And now that gamble is paying off tenfold in fan goodwill, fans are fiercely protective of him now that they understand what he endured.
Oh, definitely. The anticipation for Knockoff isn't just about seeing a new K-drama. For the fans around the world, it is about witnessing a victory lap.
It is the ultimate redemption arc, and we are watching it play out in real time. We have taken quite the journey today. We've walked through a fabricated ruin, a 16-month nightmare sparked by an AI lie, and a twisted photograph.
Yeah, and we've seen how forensic evidence, from the spectrogram of a cloned voice down to the release date of a single shirt, can completely dismantle a criminal defamation campaign.
And we've witnessed the total redemption of a Hallyu megastar reclaiming his throne. But the underlying lesson here is critical for all of us navigating the modern internet.
Absolutely. The media we consume, the moral outrage we feel, it can be so easily weaponized by bad actors seeking profit through clicks. Taking a breath, pausing before we participate in a digital wildfire. That's our best defense against the rumor mill.
If you love staying updated on the hidden truths behind the headlines, make sure you're subscribed to our deep dives. We've got even bigger stories ahead, and you really won't want to miss them.
Before we go, we want to leave you with a final thought to mull over. We talked a lot about the technology used in this framing.
Right. With the HoverLab operator sitting in a detention center awaiting his trial, it begs a massive question for our future.
Yeah.
In the age of AI-generated audio and perfectly convincing deepfake text messages, have we reached a point where the court of public opinion needs to mandate a presumption of innocence, buffer period, for digital evidence?
Or will the hunger for engagement and moral outrage always outpace the search for the truth?
That is the question you will have to answer the next time a scandal breaks on your feed. The fandom may have gone silent for 16 months, but the truth finally spoke loud and clear. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We will catch you on the next one.